Hello, and thanks for joining us today. Our group has chosen Silversmith Brewing Company for our project. Today I'm joined by Terrence and Chen. Silversmith is an independently owned craft brewery in Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario. It lies among numerous fruit farms, vineyards, and wineries. Founded by Chris Ponician and Matt Swan, it employs 24 people and has an annual revenue of $4 million. They operate out of the church, a former church from the 1890s, and is now converted into a rustic, charming brewery and beer house. It boasts beautiful vaulted ceilings and reclaimed barnwood. While it caters to its locals, it is also a great space for tourists of Niagara-on-the-Lake and is part of several wine and beer tours. They feature many handcrafted beers either on tap or in bottles or cans, but are famous for their award-winning black lager. Their staff is both passionate and knowledgeable and are ready to guide you through your beer experience while you marvel over the character as you enjoy a pint of Silversmith's tasty beers. Silversmith will need to form a human resources office for its franchising needs and will need to hire several key positions to make the transition easier. Most importantly, Silversmith will need a brewmaster to lead the way in China. The successful candidate will use their passion for beer and knowledge of the brewing process to craft creative recipes and produce the best, most exciting beers possible. This person will be involved in each step of the developmental process, from recipes to tasting of the final product, whether putting a fresh spin on an existing recipe or crafting a delicious seasonal brew. They must understand that quality comes first. They will also need a restaurant manager. The manager will be responsible for implementation of brewhouse policies and procedures and will participate in achieving our revenue objectives. Our restaurant manager will ensure staff remain in compliance with all local, state, and federal laws while making sure our customer needs are met. The last management position needed is an executive chef. The successful candidate will boast a Red Seal certificate and be responsible for hiring all kitchen staff, preparing seasonal menus, and delegating tasks in the kitchen, while maintaining a strict budget, preparing monthly profit and loss statements. I'm going to pass this over to Terrence as we move on to the target market of Silversmith.
Target market. Beer is the most consumed type of alcohol in China, accounting for more than 75% of the country's alcohol consumption. Consumers aged between 25 to 40 years, especially men, are the largest consumers of the craft beer, especially from microbrewers. Silversmith should put specialized effort in branding its products for men, since they consume most. An environmental scan must be done by Silversmith to know how the system of China is. Politically, China's political environment is fairly stable, with a low chance of political unrest. The country, as such, operates peacefully, allowing the creation of a conducive business environment. Economically, China's economy is growing at a fast rate, even more astonishing in the beer industry, which gains new entries and consumers every year. Socially, such issues as a country's average education level impact the incomes of its constituents. High education levels, as such, allow for the success of a company in the Chinese environment. Technologically, China's technological environment is praised as one of the most advanced ones, which offers an advantage to businesses established in the country. Environmentally, environment concerns such as eco-friendly, sustainability, and conservation are the main factors affecting the brewery's environment. Legally, national and international laws guiding business practices are highly to be affected by the performance of the business within Chinese beer industry. We came up with 3 market entries for Silversmith. E-commerce. When considering market entry strategy in China, Silversmith can go for a partnership. In this approach, the company will contact an existing e-commerce business that understand the Chinese e-commerce market and form a partnership to work together. There are several reasons why partnership work best when going into the Chinese market. Going into partnership may also be beneficial given the Chinese law regarding market entry for a foreign company. 2. Franchise. Silversmith's second strategy to enter Chinese alcoholic beverage market is opening up a franchise in China. This is a great opportunity for Silversmith as China's market has a steady increase in consumption of the craft beer. 3. Branch office. Establishing branches in a new market is a way of entering a foreign direct investment. Silversmith's third strategy to enter Chinese alcoholic beverage market is to establish a branch organization in China.
My name is Chen, and the part I want to introduce is the operation steps, finance, risk management, and some suggestions for Silversmith to enter the Chinese market. At first, Silversmith company set up a project team to clarify the responsibility and divorce of labor among various departments. In order to avoid turbulence in the company's management structure, it is necessary to establish a new project team within the company. Second, the project team process a plan and reaches an agreement within the company. After the project team has clarified its responsibility, it needs to propose a complete investment plan. Next, the company should select a target city for franchising. Guangzhou is the recommended city for business. Guangzhou is one of the four versatile cities in China and has an amazing economy. As a port that has existed for more than 1,000 years in Chinese history, Guangzhou Port is the largest comprehensive hub port in South China, which is vital to China's transportation and logistics. As support for foreign trade, Guangzhou has an ongoing tax exemption policy. In addition, the cultural characteristics of Guangzhou may have a positive effect on the localization of Silversmith. The fourth step is to select franchising dealers according to the plan. Then, the company can clarify the responsibilities and obligations with franchised dealers and sign an agreement. Also, carry out the project and the transfer work to in audience with the agreement should be the next step. At some point, Silversmith can negotiate with franchisees to sign a new agreement for or find a new franchising. When the time limited for signing the contract is reached, Silversmith can renew the contract with the franchising or find a new franchise. About the finance. First, Silversmith needs franchising disclosure document, which is the entire legal basis of the franchising system. Later, after Silversmith looked for the good franchising partner, it's also needed to file with the Chinese commercial department. This entire process requires the help of the lawyer or other legal agency. The fees should include FDD, registration fee, and official and service fee for registered major trademarks. As a franchisor, Silversmith needs to provide personal guidance and training. The franchising fee is the source of revenue. A common definition of investment risk is deviation from accepted result. Regarding the way Silversmith franchising entered the market, most of the risks that Silversmith faces come from the franchising itself, not the environment. First, what Silversmith need to consider is the franchisor vacation risk. China's review of franchising is very strict. Conditions for Silversmith to apply for a franchising in China need to be self-defined and clarified. Second, Silversmith need to face the risk management of franchising contracts. The franchising agreements must have statutory clauses, otherwise it cannot be filed with the Chinese Commercial Department. In addition, Silversmith needs to take into account that issues for the franchisees unilateral conservation rights. Finally, Silversmith may also face the risks of the information disclosure and intellectual property rights. Due to differences in laws and auditing between the two countries, there is a possibility of information errors in the middle. Therefore, both parties must have a deeper understanding before signing the contract. In light of the above analysis, the expansion of Silversmith's company into the Chinese market needs to take into consideration some recommendations. First recommendation is Silversmith needs to adapt approaches to customer and raising awareness of their brand. Second, the company also needs to consider the risk of franchising and effectively manage them to assure the best outcomes for its expansion into the new market. The effective management of these risks is important in preventing losses, litigation, or other detrimental effects on business performance. Finally, Silversmith Brewing Company could also explore complementary business strategies for its existing and new locations, such as e-commerce, which could hand in hand with brick-and-mortar stores and locations. The above is our full business plan statement. Recording